28 days. That's how long the Lin family stayed locked inside their home in rural Fujian. No visitors. No phone calls. No lights after sunset. Neighbors say the windows were covered with newspapers overnight, yet uncovered each morning, as if someone inside was watching the village without wanting to be seen. Police knocked multiple times. No response. But every knock came with soft, shifting sounds behind the door, even though that door never opened once on camera. On day 29, officers finally forced entry. The parents were seated at the table calm, silent, as if they'd been waiting. But their youngest daughter was gone, and the door had been locked from the inside the entire time. So how did one person exit a house that never opened? When investigators entered the Lin household, the first thing they noticed wasn't the silence, it was the arrangement. Every chair was perfectly aligned, every object angled the same way, as if someone had spent hours staging the room for an audience that would never come. Nothing looked chaotic. Nothing looked lived in. The air was stale, the curtains half-drawn, and the parents sat upright at the table, hands folded, refusing to answer the first 10 questions police asked. Then came the first contradiction, the kitchen sink. Dishes were stacked in a way that suggested daily use, yet the water meter showed 0 consumption for 28 days. No washing, no cooking, no flushing. And yet food scraps were found in the trash, fresh ones from the last 48 hours. A second contradiction surfaced when officers checked the daughter's bedroom. Her shoes were missing. Only 1 pair. All the others were still lined up neatly along the wall. The missing pair matched the footprints found inside the house, but not the footprints leading toward the door. No prints left the home. None entered. The dust on the doorstep hadn't been disturbed in weeks. Investigators then reviewed the village CCTV. The only camera facing the Lin house showed the door, motionless for the entire 28 days. No openings, no attempted exits, no shadows passing behind the paper-covered windows at night. Yet neighbors reported hearing movement on specific nights, precise times that matched the daughter's phone screen, lighting up inside the home, a device that should have lost battery weeks earlier. Inside the living room, officers found one more anomaly, a red string tied around the main support beam. Local officers recognized it immediately, a common protective measure in certain Fujian villages. But here, 3 different knots were tied. Each knot had meaning. 1 for misfortune, 1 for protection, 1 for severing ties. All 3 were cut halfway through. Every clue pointed to someone preparing for an exit that never physically happened, because according to the house records, no one crossed the door that month, especially not the daughter. Investigators continued deeper into the Lin home, expecting answers. Instead, every step produced another question. The daughter's phone found on her pillow showed screen activity long after the home had gone dark. At 2:14 a.m., 3:03 a.m., and again at 4:27 a.m., the lock screen lit up as if moved or picked up. But the fingerprint logs showed no touches. No failed attempts. No face recognition. Just the screen waking, then returning to black. A more disturbing inconsistency came from the food records. Local delivery receipts showed small grocery drop-offs every few days, paid electronically by the parents. But investigators found the bags untouched behind the door, stacked in a way that suggested no one had eaten for days. Yet inside the trash bin were vegetable peels and rice scraps, dated with timestamps only 2 days old. Someone inside was eating, but none of the adults admitted to preparing anything. The strangest evidence came from the back room. A chalk line, thin, straight, perfectly measured, ran from the daughter's bedroom door to the living room. Locals recognized it immediately, a traditional boundary line meant to keep someone from crossing into certain rooms. But here the chalk was smudged halfway through, like someone had stepped across it. Yet no footprints matched. The smudge pattern didn't align with any shoe found inside the home. Then came the most inexplicable record, the electric usage chart. On day 12, power surged in the back room for exactly 9 minutes, strong enough to trip the outer fuse. The parents claimed they never entered that room for the entire month. But the daughter's shoes, the missing pair, were found tucked neatly under the back room's low table, positioned with toes pointing outward, as if they'd been removed by someone sitting on the floor. Yet despite all this, there were no exit marks, no forced windows, and no prints on the balcony. Everything pointed to movement without movement, presence without proof, activity without entry. And the final contradiction. The last time the daughter was seen alive was on the house's internal meter log, 4 hours after the door had already been locked. If you thought the horror ended here, you're wrong. What other dark rituals and forbidden practices are still being performed in secret? Dive deeper into the chilling world of haunted ceremonies, banned footage, and eerie folklore that refuses to stay buried. Click on the playlist to uncover terrifying recordings, lost evidence, and disturbing stories they never wanted you to see. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for weekly uploads of spine-tingling footage and dark tales that echo from the shadows. This is the Forbidden's Archive, where the hidden truth and haunting evidence come to life.